Welcome to another in our series of Kehillat Israel podcasts. This is a recording of Rabbi Amy Bernstein's weekly Friday morning Torah study.
We are, of course, at Chol HaMoed Pesach. Right now, we are at the days of Pesach that are not Yom Tov, that are not a holiday, that have prohibitions on work. This is Shabbat, Chol HaMoed Pesach. So there is, for the rabbis, a special reading for Shabbat, Chol HaMoed Pesach. We've been doing it together for 15 years now. And this year, Ma Nishtana, what is different this year than any other year? We are not going to do the Torah reading for Shabbat, Chol HaMoed Pesach, that we normally do. Instead, we are going to read what is traditionally read in Shul on this Shabbat, which is, Bert's nodding already, because he knows already what I'm about to say.
Shir HaShirim.
Shir HaShirim. The Song of Songs is read in Shul on Chol HaMoed Shabbat Pesach. And in my entire career, I have never taught it on Chol HaMoed Shabbat Pesach. So this is a first. You all are my first. So let's say Shechianu Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Shechianu V'Kiyamanu V'Higiyanu Lazman Hazeh. We say a blessing for doing something new, something different, something we haven't done before or haven't done in a long time. So we're going to do that today. Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs. The first century rabbi, Rabbi Akiva, one of our most famous sages, one of our Talmudic sages, he was in the first century and advocated very strongly as the canon of the Jewish Bible was being set. Akiva argued strongly and won that Shir HaShirim should be in the canon. Other folks argued, absolutely not. This is love poetry. It is erotic love poetry. It does not belong in the canon of the Torah in Tanakh, right? This is part of the Tanakh, Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. This is from the writings, Ketuvim. As are all of the other Megillot, the other scrolls. And we know that there's a Megillah tied to holidays. So this is the Megillah. This is the writing that is tied to Pesach. It is erotic love poetry. It is cisgendered heterosexual love poetry. It is poetry that Akiva argued was a metaphor for the love between God and Israel. Why? Even if that's true, let's say Akiva and his students are, that we believe them, and this is gorgeous poetry about the yearning of lovers for one another. Why Pesach? Why Shabbat Chol HaMoed Pesach? So that is what I want you to think about as we look at the text, and you answer. There's no right or wrong. We have some evidence for why this might have been chosen, but your interpretation of why it resonates at Pesach is as valid as any of our former scholars. So I want you to answer that question as we look at the text this morning. Why this text, Chol HaMoed Shabbat Pesach, and maybe even why this text in the canon at all? What makes this a holy text to be included in the canon? Okay? We're going to read what is traditionally read in Shul, starting at chapter 2 of Song of Songs, going through part of chapter 3. This poetry switches back and forth between the lovers. It is not a story. It is a collection of verses. You'll see. I won't have to explain much about why it's hard to understand exactly what's going on. This is not a love story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. So we'll get a flavor of Shir HaShirim. I am a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valleys. Like a lily among thorns, so is my darling, Ben Habanot, among the daughters, meaning the daughters of Israel. Like an apple tree among trees of the forest, so is my beloved among the youths. I delight to sit in his shade, and his fruit is sweet to my mouth. He brought me to the banquet room, and his banner of love was over me. Sustain me with raisin cakes, refresh me with apples, for I am faint with love. His left hand was under my head, his right arm embraced me. I adjure you, O maidens of Jerusalem, by gazelles or by hinds of the field, do not wake or rouse love until it please. Hark, my beloved, there he comes, leaping over mountains, bounding over hills like Elaine's suitor. My beloved is like a gazelle or like a young stag. There he stands behind our wall, gazing through the window, peering through the lattice. My beloved spoke thus to me, arise, my darling, my fair one, come away. For now the winter is past, the rains are over and gone. The blossoms have appeared in the land, the time of pruning has come. The song of the turtle dove is heard in our land. The green figs form on the fig tree, the vines in blossom give off fragrance. Arise, my darling, my fair one, and come away. O my dove, in the cranny of the rocks, hidden by the cliff, let me see your face, let me hear your voice, for your voice is sweet and your face is comely. Catch us, the little foxes that ruin the vineyards, for our vineyard is in blossom. Dodili v'ani lo haro'eh bashoshanim, you all know this. My beloved is mine, and I am his, who browses among the lilies. When the day blows gently and the shadows flee, set out, my beloved, swift as a gazelle or a young stag, for the hills of spices. Upon my couch at night, I sought the one I love. I sought, but found him not. I must rise and roam the town, through the streets and through the squares. I must seek the one I love. I sought, but found him not. The watchmen came upon me while patrolling the town. Have you seen the one I love? Scarcely had I passed them when I found the one I love. I held him fast. I would not let him go till I brought him to my mother's house, to the chamber of her who conceived me. I adjure you, O maidens of Jerusalem, by gazelles or by hinds of the field, do not wake or rouse love until it please. Who is she that comes up from the desert like columns of smoke, in clouds of myrrh and frankincense, of all the powders of the merchants? There is Solomon's couch, encircled by 60 warriors of the warriors of Israel, all of them trained in warfare, skilled in battle, each with sword on thigh because of terror by night. King Solomon made him a plankin of wood from Lebanon. He made its posts of silver, its back of gold, its seat of purple wool. Within it was decked with love by the maidens of Jerusalem. O maidens of Zion, go forth and gaze upon King Solomon wearing the crown that his mother gave him on his wedding day, on his day of bliss. Anybody? Why in the canon? Why Shabbat Chol HaMoed Pesach?
I put a note in chat because love sets us free, and God set us free on this holiday.
Beautiful, beautiful, Susan. Love sets us free, and we're celebrating the holiday where God set us free.
And I also thought that being married almost 40 years, that it's a to and fro, and there's always been a to and fro with God. Sometimes we're fall out of God's favor for good cause, and then we're back, and the love is there still.
So it's a back and forth. The relationship has ebbs and flows, high places and low places, but it keeps moving. And the love is always there. It just might look or feel different, right? Given the season that we're in, 40 years of marriage. I want to ask the question, does love set us free?
Oh, it does.
Okay. All right. I love the answer after 40 years. That's terrific. All right, Rachel.
I just kept noticing all of these references. I mean, right from the start, the reference to maidens, and then youths, young, like gazelle, young stags, so young animals, flowers blossoming, blooming. It's very spring-like. Passover was originally, like, before Rosh Hashanah, it was the new year, like the new year, right? So it's all about rebirth, right? And so when the waters part, I mean, we talk about that as the birthing. So to me, I mean, even more than the sexual imagery was, I just felt like it was very, I actually felt like there was a lot of, like, I don't know, rebirth and spring imagery. That's what really kind of came across for me.
Okay. So vitality.
Yeah.
The energy of rebirth, renewal, springtime. Definitely that is part of
the
why it's here
birthing
at
of a
Pesach.
people. The birthing of a people, right?
The birthing of a nation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. Alex?
I was seeing what Rachel was seeing, but something that stuck out to me was I couldn't see the text, but it was something about coming back to the mother's chamber or the womb or something like that. So to me, it was coming back to like the motherland. And as you were saying, the birth of a nation. So this coming back into the womb. So something in relationship with Israel or the mother.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. So the lovers are coming into the chamber of
like
her mother.
The mother's chamber, right? That was kind of interesting.
The mother who conceived her
Yes.
is where she's taking her lover.
That is what stood out to me.
All right. So a return to the mother's space, if you will, which, right, could be the womb for sure. Where else do we see that in Torah?
Or the nation. Oh, that I don't know. Sorry.
Rachel, go for it.
Isn't that, I mean, Isaac brings Rivka to his mother's bedchamber.
Yes.
That's where you bring your bride when your mother's gone, and that is where you take, that it seems like it's symbolic. You take that space.
And remember, that's where he finds comfort.
And
right? It's when he takes her into his mother's tent that he finds solace, right, in grieving for his mother.
That's right.
So life, what is the only thing that really answers loss, death, right? But the only thing is life.
Coming together.
Right? Life. A new relationship, right, to life, which is certainly what springtime is about in ancient Israel as well as now, for us celebrating spring. There's a beautiful midrash about the lattice work. So the imagery of the lover peering through the lattice work, right? So the lover trying to catch a glimpse of the beloved up in her chamber, peering through the fence, right? Peering through the lattice work of the courtyard, trying to catch a glimpse of the beloved. And there's a beautiful midrash that says, this is what happens with the priests when they bless Israel, that it is God looking through the hands of the priests longing for a glimpse of the people of Israel, that God is peering through the lattice work, looking at the people of Israel with longing and yearning and desire to be close, to be intimate. So that's one of my favorite interpretations of this, is because that, of course, is the allegory. If we're going to see this allegorically, and there is evidence of Sumerian erotic poetry like this being used in ritual, so this is not unique to ancient Israel. Sorry, y'all. So it's not unique to ancient Israel to have this kind of love poetry be a part of liturgy or part of an expression, like a religious expression, but it is seen allegorically by the rabbis as the love between God and Israel. So God is the beloved, as is Israel. Ani l'dodi v'dodi li, right? I am my beloved's, my beloved is mine. Both yearn and long for each other. Both yearn and long to be together. There are moments of togetherness, and there are moments where it's all about the yearning and the longing. So let's look at Rabbi Shefa Gold and what Rabbi Gold does. She loves this text, by the way. Shefa loves Song of Songs and has some interpretations of it, and she has set much of it to music. She has chants that she has written. So this is Rabbi Gold. You can go to her website and find this. I will send the link, of course, to Bert. She talks about this as initiation onto the path of love. And she quotes Rabbi Akiva, who says the whole Torah is holy, but the Song of Songs is the holy of holies. He argued right for it to be in the canon. She reminds us nowhere in it does the name of God appear. Its words were sung in every tavern. It glorifies the sexual love between a man and a woman who were clearly not married. It celebrates nature and the pleasures of the body. Yet despite vociferous opposition, the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, who was a great mystic and an important leader of his time, held sway, and the Song of Songs was preserved as one of the holy books of Torah. She says that it is the responsibility of each generation to fully receive, reinterpret, and add to the treasure and pass it on in a form that is more relevant and more alive to our present day challenges. Then she looks at texts of Torah that talk about love, and that's central to Torah. We're to love God, of course, and we're to love the stranger. We're to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And she says they constitute at the same time the most simple and the most complicated challenge of living a holy life. The path of love, of rising to the challenge of learning to love and be loved, is the most rigorous spiritual path there is. Stepping onto the path of love, I am faced with every resistance, every illusion, every obstacle to self-realization. The great work is suddenly laid out before me in startling detail. In the words of the song, I was asleep, but my heart was awake. Listen, my lover is knocking. The song sings to all whose hearts lie awake, waiting to be roused by God, our true love, who is knocking, who calls us to become ourselves and to be connected in sacred union with all of creation and with the source of all. God is knocking with the reality of each moment. The truth of this moment is distorted when desire compels me to reach out for what's next and thus miss what is right in front of me. Or when I'm so preoccupied with the past or my ideas about what should be that I miss what is. My initiation onto this path of love requires that I wake up and stay present to the truth that is before me, to the miraculous garden of my ongoing rebirth. It requires that I open my heart to the other. It demands that I acknowledge every obstacle to love's fulfillment. Those obstacles are the defenses that the false self has built out of layers of fear and out of the illusion of separateness from God and creation. So she now tells a story about being at Seder. Freedom in our tradition is not merely a freedom from oppression, suffering, or servitude. It is a freedom to be in direct relationship with God, our liberator. God says, I brought you out of Egypt to be your God, to be in relationship with you. It is this relationship, what did Susan say? It is this relationship that makes us free. The moment we cut ourselves off from God, we are back in Egypt. We are back in slavery. The Song of Songs tells the story of relationship, its yearnings and heartbreaks, as well as its triumphs and pleasures. It shouts the glories of love and whispers its secrets. I move easily from the relationship of a people with their God to the complex web of relationship in my life. The song sends me on the spiritual path of relationship. In relationship, all my ideals are tested, and I am shown the places of my own fear, immaturity, impatience, pride, and bitterness. Intimate relationship reveals to me where I still need work and healing, and it calls forth my greatest courage and love. My absolute best and worst character traits are made clearly visible in the practice of relationship, as well as a vision of what is possible if I were to open to the great love. People, your thoughts?
There's an interesting book that Shai Held wrote, Rabbi Shai Held, who's I think president of Hadar, about love and Judaism. One of the Christian arguments against Judaism, if I'm correct, is that Christianity is the religion of love and Judaism is the religion of fear, because the God of the so-called Old Testament is always mad and always doing horrible things if people don't, super strict, et cetera, et cetera. His argument, and I think that's part of where you're going here as well, is that, part of the core of Judaism is love, and not just love for each other, but love of God. And I was thinking back to why God freed the Jewish people. You were relating this to Pesach, and it was out of grace, just because. Why did God pick Abraham? God said, okay, this guy. And so there's also a sense of not unconditional love, but just love for the sake of love. And we generally don't think of Judaism that way. Anyhow, I think that reinforces, I think, the point you're making.
Yes, beautiful. So it is a Christian polemic that Jesus is about love and comes to redeem the tradition from law, which is in opposition to love, which is not a Jewish understanding of the world, right? We understand law and rules and teachings about how to live to be an expression of love. This is why we teach our children. We don't teach our children because we don't like them. we teach our children because we love them. So that's already a polemic. I think, Bert, that what you touch on is why Abraham. And if I ask any of you, why your spouse? Why are you in love with your spouse? There is not an answer that any of you can give me that's going to have me go, oh, sure, okay, yeah, I get it. I would love that person too. There's nothing you can say to me that's going to have me feel what you feel for your beloved. Same with me. I can't ever explain to you why I'm drawn to who I'm drawn to, right? Right now, of course, that is Luna. But just saying. But the point is, because you can't explain love. There's not a reason for love, right? It just is. So God loves Avraham and wants a special relationship with Avraham and Sarah's offspring, just cause. Doesn't say because Abraham was the best, the brightest, the most pious. Doesn't say he was the most beautiful. What it says is God loved Avraham and wanted a relationship with him. This is very much the story of the Israelites being freed from slavery. It's not because we earned it. It's not because we were so fantastic. It's not because we were so pious or so good or so pure, right? It's just because God wants a relationship with us, and this is the language of love that we can relate to as people, and that we know this feeling of longing and of yearning, and the tradition asks us to layer that onto the national experience, the historical experience of being taken out of Egypt and becoming a people with a covenantal relationship with the divine that is ongoing. So some of y'all been married 40 years. That feels like probably a bit of time. 3,000 years we've been in relationship to the beloved, right? Rachel says 29 going on 30. So I think about that for a second. Like, think about what a marriage takes, what a relationship takes over years, over time, over decades, 3 millennia. We have been in relationship to the beloved, capital B. Bert.
And I guess it really started with the story that God created us in God's image. That is an expression of love. Christianity has, Jesus loves you. We don't really talk very much in Judaism about God loves you. And I once heard, maybe it was Shai Held, say, how his life changed when he believed that God loved him, which was a way of saying, really believed that cosmically he was of value, not because of anything he did, but just because he is, and he's God's creation.
That we are inherently worthy of love because we are divinity incarnate, each of us. And that means you don't get to say someone else isn't created in the image of the divine, right? That's one of the most important teachings for me from our tradition that we have gifted the world, which is you can't say someone isn't created in the divine image. You can't pick anything about somebody to say, and therefore you are not created in the image of God. There's no such thing in Judaism. I'm not saying that's easy, and I'm not saying it's pleasant all the time, but, right? Not just Jews. Bert, you want to say more?
It was a question. Betsy asked a question in the chat saying, didn't God create all people in his image? And the only thing I said, of course.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean, ask those of us who have children, ask your children, hopefully, if they feel that they have a special relationship with you or you have a special relationship with them. That doesn't mean everyone else is trash. It just means that we can have some relationships that we feel are special. Now, the point I was making, how many people have ruined their lives because they didn't believe they had any value, or were waiting for other people to give them value, or were waiting for a car to give them value. According to Shai Held, one of the things that Judaism teaches is we have each of us has a cosmic value, and the universe is different because we have existed or do exist, and there will never be another person like us. Twins are not even alike, and that if if a person really believes that about themselves, that's very different from I'm trash and I don't deserve anything, and so I'm become a drug addict to kind of forget all of this.
Right. All right. So twins are not the same; they are alike. Right. So that's what we're supposed to take from this. Right. Is that we are not the same, but we're alike, and we're alike God, and in that sense, have infinite value just because we exist. All right, Susan?
It somehow, this all brings together for me something that's always puzzled me, the contentious relationship and the love relationship we have with God. And I mean, that really is like long-term marriage. Sometimes you argue, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you complain because there's no quail and there's no cucumbers. And sometimes, you're just happy with manna. And it's like the whole give and take between us and our beloved is so much less puzzling after this teaching.
It's less puzzling, or say more about that.
Or more comprehensible.
Got it. The fact that
of course we argue with God, and of course God gets mad at us, and of course after 3,000 years we're still beloved.
Okay, so it's up to us, says Rabbi Shefa Gold, to take that seriously, to take seriously the relationship. And that means to ask the questions, to challenge, to yearn, to long, right? To relax into, to trust, like all of it. We have to do that as this generation of the Jewish people in covenantal, eternal relationship with the divine. Betsy.
Wouldn't people of various religions that believe in some sort of a God contend the same thing, that God loves them and they have a special relationship with God? I don't really understand. You said God chose us to be in this special relationship with God just because, and we can't explain why. But I still don't understand that. Like, why? Why did he or she choose us? I mean, I just would imagine that in various religions, the people also think they're in a special relationship with God, and that God chose them in a way.
Sure.
To have this loving relationship.
Sure. No problem.
But why?
That's not a problem.
But why do we? I mean, I'm looking for an explanation of why we think that we're in this loving relationship with God, like us, like as Jews.
Because that's how our ancestors talked about it. That's how they talked about the relationship of their people to the divine, is that we have a covenantal relationship. Not all peoples have that. Not all people understand themselves as in a covenantal relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the language our people use to talk about our people's relationship to the divine. It doesn't say anything about God's relationship with other peoples.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And there's no contention that God doesn't have a similar relationship with other peoples.
Yeah. I mean, every people imagines its own relationship to the spirit, right? To the one.
Where'd the hand go?
This is our people's language and our people's mythology and our people's way of doing that. Everybody has their own. Not everybody, not every people. Most people do not understand themselves in covenantal relationship. That is a Jewish way of talking about the relationship. It's not to say it's of more value. It's just our people's way. Judith?
Thank you. I wanted to add one other thing about loving and the vast amount of love that each of us can handle. It's not one love. We don't have just one love in our life. We love our children. We love our spouses. And in my experience, we can love again if our hearts are open to the whole idea of who we are as humans capable of loving many times. And I found that true for you and for many friends as well.
So, Betsy, to your point, God has lots of children
Yes.
and loves them differently and has a different relationship with each of them. No children have the same parents. I don't care if you have the same parents. You don't have the same parents because your relationship to those parents is different than your siblings' relationship to those same parents. Yeah. And so that comes closest to how I would answer our understanding of having a special relationship with the divine. Yeah.
Well, as a parent, you're not supposed to play favorites, but it's sort of like we're the favorite child of God.
Doesn't every child want to be the favorite child? Right? I mean, I have a favorite child, and I tell her that all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
She knows that she's my favorite.
Luna, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. Yeah, right. To Rachel's thing in the chat, if we're the favorite, good grief. Like, what's that joke? Like, if we're the chosen people, choose somebody else, right? Like, please choose somebody else. If this is what chosenness looks like, can we take a break? All right. So the other thing for me this year about this text, when I sat with it for a while, was that there's a lot of Shir HaShirim, a lot of the Song of Songs that is about fantasy. It's fantasizing about the beloved, thinking about the beloved and longing and yearning for the beloved, even to just catch a glimpse of the beloved. There's a poignant sense of it's not about the satisfaction of being with the beloved. It's about longing as connection. Does that make sense? It's not just about being together and being sated sexually or any way. It's Shir HaShirim. The power of Shir HaShirim is about wanting and not having the satisfaction. It's about a yearning that comes from a deep love and desire to be intimate with someone. But the power of it is in the longing, not in the being sated. And I think that felt very poignant for me this year because I have a lot of longing for things to be in my control, to be in my own space, to so many ways I am longing to be in the Palisades, to be back in KI, to be back with y'all, to hug you, to be able to sit with you at Torah study, to be able to eat Lisa's muffins at Torah study, right? It's so much right now for me about longing. And it was important for me to see that the tradition honors that is a sacred expression. It's a holy text, the text that's dafka about not being sated, about just wanting to catch one glimpse of her neck through the lattice work. That would be enough, right? And that is a deep expression of love and connection. Okay, Rachel?
Okay, so you just made my brain explode. And the reason is, I don't know, because I don't know enough about which days you read which things during Pesach, but I know that there's a day when we read, and I think it's still in Exodus, when it's after the golden calf incident, it's after Sinai, it's after all of that, and Moses is leading the people, and he has this moment where he says to God, show me your face. If you don't, we're not going any further if you don't, you have to stay in front of us the whole time and show me your face. And God says, all my goodness will pass before you, and I will gracify what I will gracify, and I will and it's all garbled and blah, 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 but refuses to actually give Moses and give the people the satisfaction of actually revealing God's face. And so I feel like there's this beautiful connection right there. When you said that, I was like, oh, and there's the like trying to catch a glimpse through the window. I mean, how brilliant of the rabbis to link these. I mean, of course, because you've always said like they know the text so well that they're going from all the way, they're going from Exodus over to Song of Songs, and it's in their brains. It's like those two things. There's no space between them, right? They're seeing that.
Beautiful.
So,
and when do we read the thing you just quoted, Moshe on the mountain with God?
Is it actually
Shabbat Chol HaMoed?
Is it?
Pesach.
Okay. See. All right. So then they put them together on purpose.
So
They're
they
like
put
right
them
there.
together on purpose.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. This is their sandbox. These are their, right? These are their toys. They're sacred toys. This is sacred play. Moshe says to God, we're not going if you don't go with us. And you haven't given me assurance enough that you're with us.
Right.
And we're not going if we're not going with you. We're not going.
Right.
And I want to know you.
Yeah.
So let me see your kavod, your glory, your presence. And God says, a human being cannot see me v'chai and live, right? We talked about and live a human life. We would be living some other kind of life if we, in fact, confronted and understood and saw, if you will, the complete divine, panim el panim, as Susan's saying. The rabbis put that together with the longing of the lovers to see each other, to be seen by each other, to know you're going to be with me, right? To trust that. And like, aren't we asked to trust that all the time if we allow ourselves to be loved? If we allow ourselves to risk loving what death can touch, then or loving someone who could betray us, we long to be seen. We long to be known. God is peering through the priest's fingers. Moshe wants to see God. The lover wants to see the beloved. And it's just all for the rabbis absolutely enmeshed and tangled together in a gorgeous knot of love. And yes, so they put Shir HaShirim with the text of Moses longing for God, longing for intimacy with the divine, and longing for God's presence to be known to the people. Because what happened when they didn't trust that God was with them? What happened right before this?
The golden calf.
The golden calf. That's what happens, right? That we'll substitute something for that desire to be known and to be accompanied and to be protected and to be, right, loved. We'll substitute something if we don't feel it or we don't believe it. Like Bert was saying, the car, the house, right? I'm still dealing with the house being gone, not meaning something about my life being a failure. I worked my whole life for that house and everything in it. Did I? Is that what my life was about?
That was about us.
Based on the tradition, the answer is no.
Yeah.
What, Susan?
It's about us. KI has grown with the loss, not diminished.
This is what I believe, yes, the tradition is telling us. So let's not make a calf. All right, so I want to close with giving you a taste of what my friend Sarah Thompson did with Shir HaShirim. So here we go. This is from KiTunes. You can go to KiTunes.org and hear this for yourself. And we're going to listen to Sarah Thompson's version of Song of Songs.
Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, and the rains are over and gone. My love, my fair one, the flowers appear on the earth, and the time of singing has come. My love, my fair one, the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. My love, my fair one, arise, my love, my fair one, and come away.
That is your Passover gift. Go to kitunes.org and you can download it to listen to for the rest of the Chag. And I wish everyone Aziz and Pesach, everyone a sweet Pesach. It's traditional to offer each other the wish for a Pesach kasher, a kosher Pesach. But in Yiddish, it's Azizen Pesach. It's a sweet Pesach. Whatever it is for you, this holiday of springtime, rebirth, renewal, love, trust, dig in and eat your matzah and Chag Sameach.
You've been listening to Rabbi Amy Bernstein's Friday morning Torah study from Kehillat Israel in Pacific Palisades, California. For more information, go to our website, www.ourki.org.